One of the toughest things that people face when they are selling on Amazon or about to start selling on Amazon is how to ship to Amazon FBA. People are getting confused and they don't understand certain shipping terms, such as FOB or EXW or DDP. People are wondering whether they should be shipping by air or sea, and all of this is getting super confusing. So in this video, I'm going to simplify and solve this for you. Welcome to the channel. This is your main man, Vic JC, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, make sure you smack that subscribe button. So firstly, let's go through the whole process from start to finish so you can sell your products on Amazon, so you can get your products from your suppliers in China to Amazon FBA's warehouse. So first of all, your products get made by your supplier and is made in their warehouse. So the first step is to understand that your products are made in a warehouse, they are in China, and you need to get them sent over to Amazon FBA's warehouse. So the first step is that they are made and produced in the factory, the warehouse, by your supplier in China. So that's where the product is currently sitting. The next step is that those products actually need to get sent over to the Chinese port. So whether this is a shipping port or an airport, they need to get sent to the Chinese port. Now, it's entirely dependent on what your strategy is, what you're going to be doing in terms of whether you should be sending it to an airport or a shipping port, but I'm going to explain all of that in a minute. But the first thing you need to understand is that it gets made at the supplier's warehouse, and then the product gets sent over to the shipping port or the airport where it will clear customs there. So once your product is at the shipping port or the airport, that product will be put onto the plane or onto the ship and will be sent on that vessel by sea or air. So once that part of the transportation is finished, your product will reach the destination port, whether that's the shipping port of the destination country or the airport of the shipping country. The product goes over to the shipping or the airport and then will be processed by customs. Now you may find some other videos that have an extra step where they actually send the products either to your home or you get them sent over to a specific different warehouse to process and package. But with the system that I use, you don't need to worry about any of that. A lot of this is already done at the supplier stage, and at this stage, all we want to do is once it's landed in the destination country's port, we want to send it over to Amazon FBA's warehouse. So when I say we're going to make sure that somebody else is getting all of this stuff done for you. You will just need to tell them where it actually goes. So your product should get sent straight to Amazon FBA's warehouse, and they will process it and put it into the warehouse for you. So this is why it could be really confusing, because it could be really hard to understand which of these methods actually is the best, most simple one to actually go with. And the simple and the best one to understand is that the product is made at the supplier's warehouse. It then gets sent to the Chinese shipping or airport. It then gets transported from that port by air or sea. Then it arrives at the destination port, which generally is in the USA if you're selling in the USA. It could be the shipping port in the USA, or it could be the airport in the USA. It's then processed by customs just to make sure everything's in order. And then it gets sent to Amazon FBA's warehouse on a truck, and Amazon will process the rest for you. All of this may sound super complicated, but don't worry, you don't have to do much. There's a couple of bits that you have to do, and when I actually do this, the only thing I do is get online, book what I need to book, and let the other person take care of everything. And this is called a freight forwarder. The freight forwarder is the person that I use to take care of everything for me. And if there is an issue, they will contact me and sort everything out with me. But they sort out all of the paperwork. They sort out booking a time to deliver the product to Amazon FBA's warehouse. They sort out all of the picking time and actually liaise with my supplier to make sure it's picked up at the correct time. They'll take you through all of the ports, all of the customs duties and everything without a hassle. Now, I have made a super simple video to explain how you can go about getting a freight forwarder super quick and simple. And it's called Alibaba to Amazon FBA. So make sure you go check that out so you can get more information on how you go about doing that. Now, there are three main terminologies that you need to understand, and in this video I might be slightly controversial as to what other people are saying. So you want to make sure you listen out for what I'm about to tell you. And I'm also going to give you an awesome tip about sea or air and which one of those you should actually be using. So the first shipping terminology you really need to understand is DDP. DDP stands for Delivery Duty Paid. This essentially means that your supplier is fully responsible from getting your product from the factory floor to Amazon FBA's warehouse. It's their full responsibility to sort all of this out. You have absolute zero responsibility to sort this out. So if you made a booking that is a DDP booking, they will sort everything out. Now, a lot of people out there will tell you that this is a really good way to go. I am going to go against the grain on that and tell you that you should absolutely not be using DDP, and I'm going to tell you why. But firstly, let me show you what the other two terminologies are. The second one is FOB, and FOB stands for free on board or freight on board, depending on who you actually speak to. But FOB essentially means that your supplier will make the products, get it onto their factory floor, and send it over to the Chinese shipping port or the Chinese airport. From there, it's your responsibility to get the products from the Chinese shipping port or the airport to the Amazon FBA warehouse. You can essentially call this 50% of the responsibility is on you to get your products to your warehouse. Now, this is one of the ones that I would actually recommend you do. FOB is a really good way to go. It really resolves a lot of issues, and I'm also going to explain why that is in a moment. Now, the third one you need to fully understand is EXW. EXW stands for Ex Works. This essentially means that the supplier will produce the products and they will put it onto the factory floor. Then it is your responsibility to take the products from the factory floor all the way to Amazon FBA's warehouse. Now, there will be a lot of people out there that will say that this is not the way to go, because 100% of the responsibility for getting your products shipped from the Chinese supplier warehouse all the way to Amazon FBA's warehouse is on you. I would go completely against that and say that this is my 100% recommendation and the way that you should go. It is EXW. Now, let me explain why I don't recommend DDP, why FOB is a good way to go, and EXW is the one that I recommend 100%, and is the term that the shipping term I actually use every single time when I book a shipping with my supplier. So let me give you a super quick example to explain why this is. So let's say, for example, you get your product made by your supplier in China and you've chosen DDP, which is Delivery Duty Paid, and they take care of all of the shipping for you. They get it sent over to Amazon FBA's warehouse. They take care of all the duty, etc. The reason I don't recommend this is, let's say, for example, you produced 100 pens or 1,000 pens or 10,000 pens for that matter. You sent in an inspection company to the warehouse to make sure all these products are checked. Now, let's say, for example, more than 10 or even 20% of the products are defected, which means that these pens are not working properly. They're not up to the standard. It could be the boxing, it could be the product itself, it could be the pen cover, it could be a number of different things that could have gone wrong. Now, you have no control as to when your supplier decides to go and ship that out, even if the inspection hasn't passed. Usually this isn't the case. They would usually try and rectify and come to some sort of conclusion with you or resolution with you to try and sort this out. But in the worst case scenario, let's say your supplier goes ahead and ships the product out and sends it into Amazon FBA's warehouse. You now have a big problem. You have these 500,000, 2,000, 10,000 products that are in Amazon FBA's warehouse that you know are going to be defective. And what happens when the product is defective? Customers buy the product and they will send it back. You will have a higher return rate and you'll start to get really bad reviews on your product, which means that you will start to lose money. So it's really important that you understand the risk of using DDP. Secondly, when using DDP, you actually don't really know whether you're getting a good price or not, because you've got nothing to compare it to. Yes, there are methods that you can use to try and find out whether you've got a good price using DDP shipping. However, as a beginner, you might not actually know. So I would strongly recommend against DDP. However, if you do know how to use DDP well, you can go ahead and do that, but it's not my recommendation. Now, the second one is FOB, where you actually take care of the shipping from the port the Chinese shipping port or the Chinese airport, and you get it sent all the way to Amazon FBA's warehouse. Now, the reason I say FOB shipping is okay to actually go ahead with is because then it's still the supplier's responsibility to get it to the Chinese shipping port. And if, for example, the same scenario happened and your product did not pass inspection, you can get your supplier to go and pick up your product from the shipping port and bring it back. You can actually cancel all of your shipping with your freight forwarder and make sure they don't go ahead and pick up that product. It's then the supplier's responsibility still while it's at the shipping port. That's why I say it's okay to go ahead with FOB. The one that I strongly recommend is EXW. It does mean that the 100% of the responsibility is on you, but do not take responsibility as a bad word. Responsibility is a good thing. You're in control and you want to be in control. When you start to lose control, you'll start to lose control of your business. It's really important that you stay in control with your business. However, it's really easy and simple to be in control with so many services and products around you that you can actually use to support you and your business, to support you to start your Amazon FBA business. So the reason I pick EXW is because your supplier would put the products on the factory floor, you get the inspection done, and if it doesn't pass the inspection on a worst case scenario, you don't have to go and pick up the products. Well, your shipping, your freight forwarder doesn't have to go ahead and pick up the products. You can cancel or pause them and say, hang on, the products are not ready. Do not pick them up. Let me deal with the supplier so they can and work with the supplier so I can get these products ready, and then you can go ahead and pick up the products. And that's absolutely fine to do. There's no issues there. Now, the reason why I say use the freight forwarder is because they will pick it up. You can tell them when to pick it up. You can tell them to not pick it up and move forward. The freight forwarder will take care of all of the paperwork. They will take care of all of the shipping, the air shipping, and then they will also take care of the import taxes, and they will let you know what that is and how you can go about paying that and what it's valued at. And you actually get to see the full invoice and you actually get to understand what you are being charged for and how it actually fully works. So being in control, in my eyes, is the best way to actually go. So I would strongly recommend EXW. So with sea and air shipping, which one of these should you actually go for? Well, most of the time, you should go with sea shipping. Why? Because it's absolutely cheaper. The only disadvantage to sea shipping is that it will take a little bit longer. So it could take up to about 30 days or so to actually get your product from port to port, or port to even Amazon FBA's warehouse. Whereas if you went by air, it could take you a couple of weeks or less than that to get it to Amazon FBA's warehouse. This is also dependent on how it actually goes through customs and a customs duty, and how long that actually takes, but generally that doesn't take too long, so long as you're not in a busy period like the Christmas holiday season. Now, here's the biggest tip. If you are just starting out or you've just run out of stock and you haven't managed your inventory very well, you can send, let's say for example, you've got a stock of 500 units that you want to send in to your warehouse so you can start selling immediately. But you don't want to send all 500 by sea, you don't want to send all 500 by air. So what do? You actually send 100 units by air, and then you send the rest of the 400 units by sea. That way you can start selling straight away and start making that income and money and profits and building the listing, building the reviews, and start building your Amazon FBA business quickly. So this is for when you are first starting out or you are running out of stock. If you've got time, use shipping. Use it by sea. It's actually a lot cheaper, and you'll actually know how to do this when you go and watch that video, Alibaba to Amazon FBA, that I have on this channel. So if you like this video, make sure you put a like on this. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you hit that bell notification. I will see you in the next video.